of the crazier things we've seen right now is the point spread between the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. To make some sense of that, we head down to Houston. Sports Radio 610, a man who knows more about the NFL in that area than probably anybody. John McClain joins us. John, are you shocked by the 16-point spread in the Pats-Texans game?
I am shocked about it. I thought it would be at least 20 based on how the Texans have played in Foxborough, where they're 0-4 and get creamed every time, and the way Brady is playing and the way Brock Osweiler is playing. So, yes, I am shocked.
So you're not giving a lot of chances to the Texans to pull the upset?
To pull the upset, no. We're just trying to see if they can beat that spread.
You know, I've been baffled by this, and maybe this is being in New York and you guys being right there in Houston and Texas, about the questions of Bill O'Brien's future with the Texans. This guy's won division championships. He's won in the playoffs. Why is there so much pressure on the future of Bill O'Brien when he's winning with the Texans?
There's no pressure whatsoever on Bill O'Brien, except in the national media who keep coming up with these stories that are unfounded. O'Brien has 2 years left on his contract. There were stories before the Oakland game he might get fired. Bob McNair, the owner, people that said that are clueless to how this operation works here. McNair is one of the most patient owners in the league. He's fired 2 coaches, Don Capers and Gary Kubiak, when they went 2-14. And then there's talk O'Brien would quit. Well, he's got 2 years left on his contract at about $10 to $12 million, and he's not going to walk away from that kind of money. They're not going to let him go. Who would give Bill O'Brien total control like Bill Belichick? Bill had to be fired and win a Super Bowl before he got it, and Bill O'Brien would have to do that too, and I don't think they're going to be winning this Super Bowl. So he will be back unless he just walked away on his own and did TV for 2 years.
Well, that's one guy for the Houston Texans. How about the other one, the quarterback, Brock Osweiler? We've seen him benched for Tom Savage, but now he's starting in the playoffs. What do the Texans do now going forward, evaluating the future with Brock Osweiler?
Well, he's got 1 more year left here. The contract was written where they could get out of it after 2 years. Next year, the cap hits $25 million, and the following year it's $6 million. So he's 2 and done. And they'll have him and Tom Savage. Savage will be entering the last year of his contract. Tom's problem is he plays sparingly, but he's hurt too much. They need to draft a quarterback, somebody that would give people hope. Now, in Osweiler, we got to be fair to him because we blasted him all season. The last 2 games, no turnovers, 4 touchdowns he's accounted for. And even though Oakland's offense was terrible, their defense helped them go 12-4, and they scored 3 offensive touchdowns, beat them by 13 points. So that was his best game of the year. That was the offense's best game of the year. But, boy, we're grading him on a curve because he's been so consistently mediocre to terrible.
John McClain with us right now, 104.5 The Team. John, you are definitely the authority of knowledge when it comes to Houston. Who was it that decided to give Brock that franchise type money for 2 years? Was it Bill O'Brien? We've seen him go gaga over the tall quarterbacks like Ryan Mallett in the past.
It was Bill O'Brien.
Sorry, you still there? John? I think we lost John.
Yeah, we might have lost John. We're going to try to reconnect with him.
Yeah, see if we can get John back for us. It sounded like you were saying Bill O'Brien. Now, like, the reason I say it is Ryan Mallett, you know, here's a kid who physically on paper looks like your prototypical pocket passer, kind of a Drew Bledsoe type, tall, big arm. But he had something, you know, miswired in his head where he wasn't showing up for practice. He wasn't doing a lot of the things you needed your guy to do. I almost feel like they wanted to hand him the team last year. But with that being said, they ended up going in a different direction with Brock Osweiler. John, you back with us?
Yes, I'm here. There are stories in the national media that Bob McNair, the owner, forced Bill O'Brien to sign Osweiler, which is one of the biggest myths I've ever seen. Bill O'Brien and Rick Smith wanted him. The way it came about, he played against them in the last 2 preseasons. He practiced against them. Then they had those 7 starts last year, and they wanted him. They went to Bob McNair, and he said, okay, we got some cap money for the first time since 2011. Do what you think it takes. And so they got in a bidding war with the Broncos. The Broncos got to $16.5 million a year and $30 guaranteed. Rick Smith told Jimmy Sexton, the agent, if I give you the 18 you want, you can't shop it back. So Jimmy Sexton agreed to do it, and that's how they got him.
I know they're huge underdogs since New England Patriots, but is there any chance, if Houston can pull off the upset, what would they have to do in this game?
Well, truthfully, they would, every time they've played the Patriots up there, they've made monumental mistakes. In the first game in September, they fumbled kickoffs from 22 and 21-yard line to give the Patriots an even 14. When they lost in the playoffs after the 2012 season, Texans drove straight down the field. Matt Schaub threw a perfect touchdown pass to James Casey. Oops, he dropped it. So they've fallen behind with their own mistakes. They would have to play their first mistake-free game, and what are the odds that would happen? And then Brady would have to get food poisoning or kidnapped, and then something would have to happen to Belichick and Patricia and McDaniels, and other than all of them being kidnapped, there's no chance.
John McClain with us. He's covered the Houston NFL in Houston for 38 years. Were you at all shocked that Gary Kubiak hung it up?
I was, because I knew Gary had health issues, but I didn't know it was health issues enough to retire. You know, everybody deals with stress in different ways. Gary looks great on the outside. Obviously, he had issues. He's 55, doesn't play golf, doesn't do TV, doesn't do radio. I think in another year, he'll drive his wife Rhonda crazy, and he'll end up coaching again.
John, before we let you go, I know you're on a tight schedule. We're headed down to Houston for the Super Bowl, and Gaz wants to know where he's buying you dinner.
Oh, there's so many great places here, you guys. There's no shortage of great restaurants. I'll be spending a lot of time on Radio Row. I do 19 weekly shows, so look me up.
All right, we look forward to it. Thanks so much for your time, John.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. John McClain.